I'll tomorrow you see. I'll see you tomorrow. I spoke in sentence fragments that made sense to me alone, and sadly, I spoke with a stutter, an embarrassing and disabling stutter. Hello, my name is Chad Tucker, and I graduated from Lindblom Math and Science Academy. Through my high school years, watching other people speak without flaw, I felt bitter jealousy overwhelm my thoughts. How had they, as high schoolers, managed the unmanageable task of crafting voluble speech not interspersed by slight stutters, incorrect enunciations, and awkward silences? Speaking eluded my capabilities for years, and the simple act of putting together a sentence was as difficult as putting together puzzle pieces that would never fit. New situations with new groups of people who I did not know were a no for me. Saying hello was a miracle, and any form of small talk was to be averted entirely because my stress level sprung like a summer weed at a conversation with a stranger that lasted more than 5 seconds. My friend recommended debate to me because he thought it would be therapeutic, although asking a shy person to speak publicly remains my favorite logical paradox. Walking into the debate room sophomore year, I saw a scene out of a movie, a gathering of happy students eagerly explaining debate concepts with each other, with words accompanied by flavorful motions. My face beamed at the sight of all the friends with sassy silver tongues. I recognized the entire debate squad instantly when I walked into the room because, to me at least, they were superstars with immense talent that I envied from afar. The first day of practice was mentally taxing because I was asked to not only come up with random arguments, but also speak them to someone else. Inwardly, I wanted to cry at the burning eye stabbing at me. Outwardly, I spoke words fluently with fewer distressing silences than anticipated. And from that day onward, I spoke, and I spoke. I spoke even when I did not have to speak. I spoke for fun, I spoke to strangers, and I spoke in class. Round 1. I am probably repressing the details of my first round because I recall it as a failure. I abruptly stood when it was not my turn to speak. I slammed the timer when I ended my 5-minute rebuttal with almost 3 minutes to spare, and I used all my prep time not to prep, but to twiddle my thumbs and twirl my hair out of stress. Round 15 or so. I'm losing softly against my favorite Lincoln Park team at the city championships for junior varsity. My partner and I were fast enough for one opposing argument, so I chose topicality, only for the judge to proclaim that he does not know what topicality means. But instead of instantly packing my things to prepare for the next round, I gave my second negative rebuttal, guns blazing and throat screeching. Even if he had no idea what topicality was, I would yell it into him until he understood. And although he did not understand my diatribe against the affirmative team's assuredly non-topical and cheaty plain text, I went the entire round fueled from the fury of knowing I would lose. Round 20, approximately. Sweating at the semifinals, my partner and I were affirmative against a criticism, an argument that challenges the philosophical and methodological assumptions behind an affirmative plan. I knew not what the criticism meant, nor did cross-examination clarify at all. Yet, finally knowing my speech times, I set my timer to give the most terrible first affirmative rebuttal of my life for 5 minutes of speech I had not prepared. But as soon as I clicked the timer, the words fell from my mouth with rapidity unexpected even to myself. I made up every word as I went along, but the judges would have never known. I carried myself as though I knew what I was saying, while my confidence skyrocketed. I sat down smiling because I could not stop speaking, and I clapped for myself in my head. Round 49, or some number like that. I'd well developed my style of debate to culminate in mostly yelling, scheming cross-exes, charming smiles, exaggerated facial expressions, and mountainous gesticulations. My partner and I were affirmative against some Whitney Young team, and I was spreading my lungs out for my life. They were fast, but my buttered speech was faster. They were loud, but my angry voice was louder. I could not be silenced after 3 years of just learning how to speak. Then, my second affirmative rebuttal came. I brought the rhythm and I brought the fire. Young Spitfire Chad Tucker was angry, and I would sound angry, unrelentingly so, as my speech burned the round to the ground. Round 1091 or so. I am out of debate rounds, and I am here with my voice that I found in all those hair-pulling speeches. I would like to thank all 8 of the partners I have had. I would like to thank my coach, Peter Van, for establishing a welcoming atmosphere in which I felt safe. I would like to thank Donald Rapier for walking sophomore Chad to the debate room he could not find freshman year because he was too afraid to ask someone. To end the speech, I will quote my favorite author, Vladimir Nabokov. Words without experience are meaningless. I lived the life of various people in debate rounds. An anti-black scholar, a policymaker, a utopian, a communist, a necromaniac, a poet, and most of all, a petty topicality debater. Through these lives, I found my voice, my identity, my struggle, and now I leave debate with them to enter Emory University in the fall with both an unfounded love of clinical psychology and a sassy, sober tongue. Thank you.